Alright guys, so I'm working on a pair of tongs. These tongs here are going to be for holding the back of axes, like the poles of axes while you're forging out the blade. And I'm at the step where I need to rivet them together. I'll show you guys, I'll run you guys through the process. Hopefully you'll learn something. Since we're going to be making our own rivets for these tongs, what's important to know is how to calculate how much material you need. All you need to know is you need 1.5 times the diameter of your rivet stock. So if you're using a 3/8 rivet or 3/8 diameter bar, you want 1.5 inches to stick out. Now, you can also get away with a 1-to-1. So if you've got a 1/2 inch sticking out for 1/2 inch material, that'll work. My tongs, they've got a 1/2 inch hole, so I'm gonna be sticking out a 1/2 inch. That's gonna be a 1-to-1 ratio. And the reason for that is because of my riveting plate, or my drifting plate, depending on what you want to call it. This is a 5/8 round bar, and just on the end I brought it down to a 1/2 inch. Since my material is heating up right now, what I'm gonna do is just measure out how much material I'm gonna need for the rivet. So I just measured my tongs 7/16 thick. So 7/16 times 2, that's 14/16. It's 7/8. So we're gonna stick out a 1/2 inch on each one. So we're just gonna take 1 inch and 7/8, and we're gonna cut it. This is of course rough. We're not machining anything. And what I'm doing now is just a cut to center. I'm spinning the bar around and I'm going all the way around. And I'm gonna leave a little bit, just a little bit, so that the rivet stock, the piece that's gonna end up as the rivet, will stay on the bar while it's in the fire. Because if you try to heat up this little thing in the fire, maybe if you got a propane forge, you can get away with it. But if you're in coke or coal, you're not gonna find it. So just leave a little bit like this. That's why also you want to cut the center on your hot cut hardy. This is a very important tool right here, a drift plate or a rivet plate. It's just got a series of holes, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, 5/16, 1/4. This is the tool we're going to use to support the material, which is going to become the rivet. You'll see what I mean. So I've got the rivet nice and hot. I'm going to feed it through the hole, the punched hole. And now I'm just twisting it off, dropping the bar, putting the underside in there, setting it, and now I'm moving because you have a natural tendency when you're hammering to bias one end. You're always going to draw towards yourself, and that's going to cause the rivet to go the wrong direction, and you're not going to actually end up riveting the thing. You're just going to bend the bar. Okay, so now you can see this rivet material is going to shrink from there and it'll come out easily. If it doesn't come out, I put it in the vise and I just pop the end with a drift, and it usually comes out pretty easy. So I just went to the vise and I released the bottom side. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to heat up the bottom, that material that hasn't been riveted over yet. And this is where knowing your fire is important. Stick it in. You can stick it in just the entire thing, but it's going to also heat everything up. You just want that little area to be heated. So what you can do is just kind of fill in this area, take the coals off of the rest of the tongs. I'll show you that. You can see I just took the coke off the ring. You'll see why that's important later. So I'm just heating up the end of the rivet there. And right now what I'm doing is I'm going with my round die all the way around just to spread that material. And I'll come over to this one and fix it up as well, just to get those ends. And this is just peening it over. Alright, so the problem you have now is you just riveted your tongs together. They're not coming apart. We're just going to stick them back into the fire and heat up this area. Okay, so I heated it up and I'm putting in the vise because the problem with the coke forge is that the tongs, the reins also heat up, and the reins are going to want to bend first because they're the smaller area. And you can see I'm just going gently with it. The first turn I bent the reins, so I just went really slowly. And now I can put a little bit more force into it. I can straighten out the reins as well. And so you just, well, all you have to do now, and also putting the reins into the jaws, it sucks out the heat, so it's easier to turn them. Anyway, all you have to do now is move them back and forth as much as you want them to articulate. So if you want to stop them at a certain point, you just don't move them farther than that. And what I've got right now, I'm just working this back and forth. You want to work this till it's at a black heat, or around a black heat, a little bit lower, and then you can dunk it in water or oil. If you dunk it in oil, then it lubricates the rivet, and of course you have a little bit of you got more play in there, it's a little bit easier. But water will work as well. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to forge an offset into these tongs, and also I got to trim the reins. That's it for this video. That's all I want to show you. If you want to know how to forge full tongs, then I'll put 2 videos in the description. One's made by Brazeal, one's made by Daniel Leah. They both explain the process very well, better than I can. And I just wanted to make this one because it was pretty difficult for me to learn. I needed instruction, so I thought I could help somebody out. Thanks a lot, guys.